Hey, what's going on? It's Bebop here, and the Winter Rune Forge is here. And you're going to take a shrine that's down there, come up this hill. Let me show you where that's at. It is here in Great Cleave. You'll go to the bottom right shrine, the Gnostic Crux Shrine, and you're going to ride east all the way up here to the Winter Rune Forge. You're going to skip up to the door and ask for the wizard, and it's going to show you entry requirements and possible rewards you can get. But we all know you're here for the artifact Great Axe. Now, when you sign up for the Winter Forge, first of all, I want you to make sure that you have at least 50% ice protection, okay? Don't go in there with zero ice protection. How many gems I've had to give it out? And if someone gives you gems, you know, maybe throw a little gold their way. You know what I'm saying? Not a huge deal, but I mean, come on, people. And you want to have a frozen protection amulet, all right? That's going to get you up there. See, I'm missing a Copperstein Aquamarine in this pair of pants, but it doesn't matter. Get through the dungeon just easy with 57% ice damage protection. That's what you want to do. And when you sign up, here's how you want to sign up. You go to recruitment and you're going to sign up. You're going to go X Winter and you're going to put whatever role. If you're a healer, you can put heal. Oh my God. If you can type, you can put healer. And if you're a tank, you put tank. If you're DPS, put DPS. What I like to do sometimes is DPS, great sword, great axe, so people know. Or I can do rapier / IG or whatnot. And that gives a little bit more description, makes you look like you know what you're doing a little bit more. And you could also put full ice, you know, whatever you want to do to make yourself stand out from all the other DPS that are out there. But don't just put X Winter, because I don't know what role you are, and I already know you're a noob if you're just putting X Winter, because that's not how you're supposed to do it. So I'm not going to invite you. Also, when you get invited to a group, you're going to accept, and then underneath group here, you're going to see some faces of the people that's in your group, and underneath here you'll see 3 dots. What you're going to do is click on those dots and you're going to select which role you are. You're going to select DPS, tank, or healer. So that way the guy making the whole raid knows which role he needs to fill by already looking at the raid, seeing he has 3 DPS, 2 healers, and a tank. He needs 1 more tank and whatever else. That way it's a lot quicker and easier. Don't make him keep typing select your role, select your role, select your role, because it gets confusing when you're creating those and people are not selecting their roles. So please do your part and get to that. All right, so when we're looking at gear here, you know, I have elemental protection on 2 pieces. You can go enchanted ward on everything. Either way is just fine. The once you learn the mechanics of the fight, it's pretty easy. With the greatsword, I'm using slowing rupture, and I'm also using relentless freedom. In these fights, you can get stuck in the ice, especially on the last boss. You can get stuck in the ice and temporarily can't move. I can relentless freedom out of it. If you want another way to unroot yourself, if you have a purified toast earring, which I do not have one right now, if you have a purifying toast earring, you can take a regeneration potion and it'll get you unrooted from the ice. So that's a good thing to have also. You also want to have Bile Bomb for the first beast in the first room. After you get done, because it's going to make them not heal as good when they're together. So when the big beast comes out, after the 3 waves of Ancient, you're going to switch to Beast Ward Pot and Beast Coatings. He's going to split into 2 other, you know, big beast, and then they're going to do another split. So the tanks are going to separate the first split of enemies, and then the second split, it doesn't matter if they're together, they will heal themselves, but you have enough damage and with the Bile Bombs to go ahead and melt them. It's not a big deal. So make sure you attach that to keep as much disease on them as you can. If you're also running the greatsword, where we are right here, if you go down the tree here on the skyward slash, first attack applies disease, which reduces healing 20% for 10 seconds. So look on your weapon tree and see if you have anything like that, and that could help. Also make sure your stats are lined up properly. Once I take my food. I'm 310, 309, 25 int, and then that's the rest. And let's see here. On the final boss, you want to switch to a heart rune that's more like this, the Cunning Heart Rune of Firestorm. Fire does about 20% more damage to the enemies, so this is really good. The dots are insane on it. On the final boss, it's very similar to the first boss on Forge. It's hard to hit the criticals because the back is just such a small area to hit criticals. So instead of having, let's say, like a slash ring, not going to do as much for me as a ring with keen awareness. So make sure you have a ring, if it, you know, goes with your build, that helps you get more criticals, because the DPS goes down a lot on that final boss, I've noticed. So a lot of people are not hitting their criticals. And with Serenity here, if I'm not hitting criticals, I'm losing a lot of DPS on Trenchant crits. So that's why I switched to the Keen Awareness ring on that final boss. Also, if you're running a great sword or spear, if you're running a 350 strength spear, what you could do is switch that on the final boss to the 350 dex, because you're going to get a 15% crit chance while empowered. So that's going to help out your crit chances and do a lot more DPS that way on the final boss. If you're running a rapier and you're used to having 350 int, I would highly suggest still going to 350 dex for the more critical. You're going to do more damage, in my opinion. And you could test that out and let me know what you think in the comments. So that basically about wraps it up. Make sure that you have your coatings, your ancient, you know, ward pots, your ancient coatings. Don't go cheap. I mean, you can go powerful in this, which would be just fine. It's not that big of a deal, but man, don't go in there with common or whatnot, man. Come on, we're trying to get through this thing, you know, melt them. Make sure you have at least a strong honing stone, and you know, you could choose to run powerful if you want, but if you're low on money, at least have strong stuff at bare minimum. Okay, make sure you take in a, you know, beast ward pot for the beast at the beginning and some beast coatings. All right, so here we are in the dungeon, and right here you can take your ancient ward pot, ancient coatings if you feel the need to. The first 3 waves of guys are pretty easy, so if you don't want to waste them, you don't have to. But right here you want to get the symbols all matched up so we can get this fight started. If you need to adjust stuff or whatnot, make sure you are across the starting line so you don't get locked out. Don't be a noob. But yeah, make sure you're across the starting line. Let's get these symbols all matching up so we can start this. And there's going to be 3 waves of enemies. Kill those, and then when the beasts come out, you need to take a beast ward pot and a beast coating. That way you're more protected and you're doing more damage. So I'll talk throughout the fight here, but not the whole time. Right here, if everybody would have got where I was, the enemies would have came forward. We could group them up a lot better. When you stand right next to them as they spawn, you're gonna get aggro. So it just, you know, not a huge deal, but it just takes a little bit longer because they're all spread out. Sometimes it's hard to group these guys up because they seem to not want to move too well with the gravity well. So just everybody stand back. I usually ping where people should stand so everybody, all the enemies converge, but no one's used to it yet, so it's gonna take time. Man, don't be throwing that at me, man. Yeah, what she said. So I'm right here. I'm just kind of looking where the biggest group's going to be at so I can throw my grab well, and just trying to wait it out because it is just a complete mess. It's about as good as I can do right there. All right, let's get into some damage here. Healers, if you're in this, please run Oblivion. Rapier users, at least one maybe can have Oblivion in case the healers can't really get to it. But one thing I've noticed about coming into this fight a lot is the lack of Oblivion. And so you need to have the Void Gauntlet with that so we can do a lot more DPS and be constantly empowered. That was just terrible all around right there. I'm gonna throw this grab ball. No, it didn't work. I'm gonna Maelstrom. Nope, didn't work. I'm gonna reap. Nah, that ain't gonna work either, be bad. Swing and a miss. Big slam. All right, this is where you take your beast ward pot, beast coatings. Have them in your 6 slot so you can just drink them, because sometimes you might be stuck in combat and not able to use. All right, with this guy, stand back for a second, because both tanks seem to always want to go and I guess get aggro on this guy. One tank should just stand back and wait. That might be what he's doing over there to the left. There only should be one tank on this guy, because if 2 start flipping them, it's going to get a lot of your DPS early downs, which you don't need. So once this guy splits, all the DPS need to back up. Let the 2 tanks try to get separation. They're going to have to do that with damage, because if they area taunt, they're going to end up just switching aggro back and forth. So right here is where he's phased into the next phase. And there's going to be 2 of these guys. A little bit smaller, but 2 of them. Watch out for these little guys also. They tend to love going after the healers in the range, but especially the healers, range could take care of themselves. Now that these guys are split, make sure you're on the opposite side of the tank and just start DPSing away. If they get too close to each other, hit them with disease. Like right now, they're getting close. Tank needs to try to pull them away a little bit farther. I was trying to gauge where most of the DPS were at, and it looks over here, so that's where I came. If we had Oblivion down now, I could be getting up to 17k or so, you know, anywhere from that 14 to 17k mark. Maybe 18 if we were lucky, but no Oblivion down. All right, the 3rd and final phase right here. They split into 2. Don't worry about splitting these up. Just group them up and you can melt them down. You should have disease, which will... Ooh, you about to die. You should have disease, so you can still melt these guys down. If you don't have enough damage to do that, you need to adjust your con. I think DPS should be no more than 50 con in this fight. So if you're more than that, just work that way down. Make sure you have a chain of ward and elemental ward on your clothing if you want. But you can see, even though they're together, we can still melt them down really well. All right, gotta be careful here, because see this guy kind of running around. I'm not sure who the tank is. So I'm just gonna wait a minute. Because when you hit real hard, especially with Serenity, you can get aggro real fast. I didn't want him flipping on me. No Oblivion still. Come on, healers, where we at? I see one guy with a hatchet with infected throw. Nice. Different ways to add disease is really good, so you can stack up the anti-heal. You have the pestilence is really good here. Man, Great Sword is so good on these guys. Or Serenity is. Now, on the last boss, you need a ring with keen awareness, like I said earlier, so you can get more criticals. Because it's very hard to get criticals on this next boss. All right, so here we are at the next boss. Take your ancient ward pot and your ancient coatings. Look at these glyphs right here. Is where you need to throw the snowballs. There's bottom ones on each one of the pillars. There's 4 pillars, and that will be how you get the buff. You pick up the snowballs, match up all the symbols till they glow orange, and then the buff will spawn once you hear that loud screeching noise. So this boss is very hard to get criticals on. So if you're running Rapier and you used to be in 350 int, you might want to look at 350 dex for the 15% chance to critical while empowered. And if you have a ring that you want to put on, if you're Greatsword Serenity like myself, then you want to put a Keen Awareness ring on so you get more chance of criticals to take chance. See, everybody needs to grab the buff right there, but to take chance of the critical damage that the Serenity does. I can't even think of the word right now, but everybody needs to grab a buff off Rift. You heard the loud screeching noise. Make sure you do that. And get the DPS and break. Now you do see the eye spinning around. At first it will be these two big triangles with a empty area where you're safe at. Feel free to keep DPSing, spin to the left, and that way you can just non-stop DPS instead of having to walk around. If you're the great, oh my god, I got aggro. Run, B-map! Alright, since I got aggro, might as well throw some snowballs. Make sure you get the guys that are stuck in the ice out. It's pretty self-explanatory. Range, try to take care of the mobs. Looking around for the buffs. Watch out for this. This is a triple triangle. It's very hard to see. I wish they would have made the ice zones dark blue. But, you know. Might be too easy then. Ryan's starting to glow. Now, boom. Let's get the other ones going. Which range you should be doing this. If you are doing this, be very careful, because if he does start to spin the ice and you're out here, you're gonna have the wide ice zone. It's gonna be very hard to dodge and get through, so you can get caught up real easy. Really shouldn't be messing with these mobs. Just get to the boss, but make sure you have the right heart rune on. Not disease, but you know, a fire heart rune. Cunning Firestorm. Watch out for these drops. Just try to run around. Not a big deal. If you got the buff, you're not gonna take as much damage. Watch out for the ice on the ground. Don't stand in the ice. Trying to pick it up, the guy throws and hits me. Like, come on, man. Gotta get my buff. There we go. I don't know where that snowball went. But really, it's a lot of wasted DPS time. I shouldn't be out there doing all that. I just need to go ahead and focus on hitting the boss, because I'm hitting pretty hard with the great sword. So better utilized there than throwing snowballs. Guarantee that. Loud screeching noise lets you know when the buff's active. This is where the other enemy spawns in the middle. Take them out quick. If you're running Ice Gauntlet, you can run the Ice Tomb, and you can just tomb up, and those things won't hurt you at all. So. Heard the buff noise, going to get it. I'm not in any trouble with the ice so far, so I'm gonna keep swinging. All right, the Guardian's in the middle, get him!
that ice right there, there's 3 zones that he fully covers, so you only have the one free one to get in. Very dangerous. Now I'm rooted, so I can't move. Guys in the middle, we're not paying attention. Yeah, there's that 3 zone, so you gotta only be in the 1 zone. If you're not, you're gonna get melted. Or I guess frozen, you know, that'd be the better term. Oh, get up into that ice shower, baby. He probably died, I don't know. What a res. Watch out. That blast. It hurts. No reason to chance it right there. We're about to kill him, so that's how you do that fight, and that's how you sign up for the fight. That's the proper gear you should have for your fight. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I try to answer back all questions or comments or any suggestion on videos. If you want more instructional videos on basically all sorts of things in this game, go ahead and check out my channel. If you're new here, like, comment, and subscribe. And thanks for stopping by. Thanks for your time, and I'll see you on the next video. Have a good day. Later.